Good morning, everybody. It's me, Coach Woody here, and welcome back to KMATS Coach Commentary again. This time we are back to watch the Ultimate Self Defense Championships. This time is episode 3. It's called the Hide and Go Stab. Ooh, that's interesting. What is that all about? Anyway, that's what we're here to see, and I'm going to evaluate what my specialties are about. Let's take a look at this new episode, because remember the first episode was a good intro about scenarios like in small enclosed spaces like the bus, things like that, while it's moving as well. And the second one is the second episode was probably like my favorite episode. It was the one with the weapons and stuff. It was a really good, interesting way of looking at the world, like real world situation stuff. And they had several types of martial artists all in one show. Random situations. Some of them are real life situations too. So let's take a look.
I was scared. I was so scared.
Jeff was hid in the shadows somewhere. I didn't see him. Matt hid somewhere. I don't know.
Time's ticking, mate.
Where are they? They look like they're in a warehouse. Episode number 3, Hide and Go Stab.
Although the 6 YouTubers who came to Sydney, Australia to compete with each other to see who will become the Ultimate Self-Defense Champion have already fought on a bus and right away had to defend themselves against multiple unarmed and armed attackers in the headquarters, while they had plenty of impressions to share.
Technically, I knew what I was supposed to do, but the people that say size doesn't matter, I'm like, press the guy's guard, like knife through butter.
All right, since we're talking about martial arts here, and martial arts have always been about your mind, just like any other sport, the mind taking over the body, things like that. Don't forget, a few of these fighters are much, much younger than the others, especially, like I said, Coach Mike, I'm sorry, but you are the older one in here, and I want everybody to understand that age is also a big deal in here. You know what, since age was, I don't know if it was just like, I want to point this out. They're all guys in here. I don't know why there are no women. But anyway, but at least there's an age gap between some of the fighters in here. Some of them are current fighters now. Some of them are just older than the others. Some of them are younger, but they have martial arts experience. It's good to see all that. But I think to further explore this some more, I think the women should partake in this in the next, hopefully in the next season. But anyway, age, especially for Icy Mike, I'm actually going for Icy Mike because he's the underdog, because he's the older gentleman in here. He's the older martial artist. So seeing somebody that has good experience, that's been in the martial arts journey, partake in such events that take so much of your mental, physical, and like your experience in here in your martial arts journey, it will be good to see how well Coach Mike does. And I myself is going for Coach Mike. So let's go on it further, because I'm talking too much right now.
I think it immediately rolled because it was just strong.
Like a 50, 60 pound difference with some of those dudes.
Brutal.
They only had an hour break before the third challenge was introduced to them.
By the way, he's the smallest guy in there.
For it, they were asked to wear t-shirts showing their anatomy, and then to make their way to a nearby warehouse together with a group of 6 big guys without knowing what's going to happen next. When they arrived, the following challenge was revealed to them. The competitors will be divided into 2 teams of 3. They will then enter the warehouse 1 team at a time and be given 5 minutes to hide. And there are plenty of places to hide, such as offices, an amphitheater, changing rooms, and more. Once the timer runs out, 6 attackers in pairs carrying markers representing knives will enter the warehouse through 3 different doors. But the competitors won't be allowed to leave the building until they will hear another 5-minute signal before they can escape through one of the 4 doors in the front of the building. If they succeed in escaping the building, that will not yet be the end, as they will still have to make their way to this tree and touch it. Only once they do that, if the contenders will have no knife marks on their anatomy t-shirt, they will have a
By the way, you see that marker right there? I think we should play this game, because my brother and I used to play this game. We used to play Pretend Knife with markers. And whoever had the most... Yeah, this is cool. I don't know why I never thought of this until now. My brother and I used to do this when we were kids. And then, of course, my mom got mad because it was her Sharpie. But yeah, it was pretty cool. All right, let's play that in the next class next time, right? Let's see who has the best defense.
Officially escape, scoring them 3 points. If by the time they reach the tree the competitors will have marks that are not deadly, they will receive 2 points. If the competitor is fatally wounded before they touch the tree, 0 points will be given. And the first team to go was Icy Mike, Sensei Seth, and Rokas Leo. Right after, a short montage of all the competitors running into the building while being chased.
Oh, darn it. I finished my coffee before I could even watch the show. It's just barely like the first 2 minutes.
I'm cramping up and I'm getting nervous. I'm nervous. Yeah.
I was very nervous about the hide go stab. I did not know what to do. I don't have a game plan.
I'm not a quiet person. I knew I was gonna have to run. And then I started looking around and I asked one guy, do you play any sports? And he was like, at the same time, we were like, rugby.
Even though we were opponents, we sort of agreed,
rugby
like, hey,
players
somebody's gotta get
are
some points.
rough,
They're gonna
man.
get us unless we try to get as many of
Those guys
The 3 competitors
will
then made their way
demolish
to the
anyone
warehouse
with
where they
no
were intending
equipment.
to stick together. But
As soon as we go to the warehouse, we split. I'm on my own. I'm freaking.
They have the rugby players have the stamina of soccer players or football players, you know, however you want to call it. And they have the grit of football players because they don't care if they're on the ground. They're basically wrestlers that can sprint. Yeah, they're insane strong too. And getting tackled by those guys, it's not nice because I've played with some rugby friends a long time ago, and they're not nice people on the field.
Out. I don't know what to do.
I ended up being on my own, while
Seth and I sort of worked together a little bit.
Hey, open a bunch of doors, Mike. Mike, what about in here? Look, lots of stuff in here.
Mike and I went underneath the amphitheater.
I mean, I think this is the move.
He helped me climb up onto a piece of furniture,
There's a chair. Just move our way out.
and then we moved away the chair that I used so it would look impossible that a person could be up there.
meanwhile, I was struggling to find a hiding spot and the timer ran out.
So it's like hide and seek,
Sat
but I don't
about this,
understand
and I
the
thought, okay, I'm gonna go
the
all or
full
nothing.
concept
And I
yet.
see
That's why
this
I'm watching
one
now.
restroom, which is completely dark. As soon as
I know they had to
enter,
touch
I
a
can
tree
see
and all
nothing.
that.
I'm thinking the same is gonna happen to my attackers. So there's a door, and I decided I'm just gonna go by the door, sit down, and I'm gonna invest all of myself into that decision.
Decisions, right? You have to make the right decisions, otherwise.
So I'm sitting there covering my GoPro because it's shining with the light, and I start to hear footsteps.
That is scary, dude. Oh, this is intense. I'm not even the one playing, but I'm nervous.
Come out.
And he goes out. I'm like, this worked. And they start moving out of the area. Okay, I'm just gonna go. So I'm making my ninja way towards the exit. I turn a corner, place a foot outside of the wall, and I just peek slightly and I see them. I'm not sure, I think they saw me, but I wasn't sure. I'm like, okay, I go back to the same place, I sit down,
Shoot.
and I hear them coming back.
They saw him. They saw him.
I hear the guy coming into the restroom and he turns on the light. I'm just sitting there, squatted. I stand, I'm like, hey dude, and there's 2 of them.
Fight your way out, Ruckus!
They told me that they saw my foot stepping out, and that was all they needed.
Unfortunately, I did not escape the warehouse and was fatally
no,
wounded, getting
Rokas,
0
no.
points. But Icy Mike and Sensei Seth, who were bow hiding in the amphitheater, were
Rokas,
employing their
man.
unique skill sets.
One thing I learned in Jiu-Jitsuu, your body has very distinct V's. So you go like this, that's a V. Trying to disguise that and make it look harder to recognizing patterns.
And as the attackers were coming, they still had a plan up their sleeves.
Mike and I had planned that he was going to throw a bottle. It felt like almost as soon as they walked in the door, somebody came and looked around the amphitheater. As soon as they were about to spot me, Mike throws a bottle, almost like a robot, and he walks the other direction. And I take off. And I try to be as loud as I can, so Mike then has them leave him. There's a chair, and I jump over the chair. I'm moving as fast as I can. Cut up the stairs.
Luckily for Sensei Seth, as soon as he reached the stairs, the second whistle signaling escape time was blown and he was free to leave the warehouse.
I open the door and all I see is bright daylight. So I go down the stairs. Dude, this is easy. I'm done. Because in my sight right now, there's a wall, green grass, and then there's my destination. As soon as I get past that wall, rugby player.
No!
Onto the concrete, which is where I got this bad boy. I hop back up and then I tried to run a long way around him and try to get past him. Look, shove, stop, go. Running, shove, and then as we go down
he
the
got
hill,
stabbed though.
I trip and fall. He also slips down the hill, so he's now past me again. But he's past me.
He has to tag that
between
tree.
me and the tree. So I look up.
Tag the tree,
dude,
Seth?
let's just do it. And in that moment, I was so scared. This formidable opponent, who I know can outrun me and has a knife, is in front of me. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's just do it. Let's do it. And as we get closer, I changed my mind really quick. And then I pushed him in the face again. And then I tried running around him. And I got past him. And then he tackles me from behind.
Oh no! Now they're both tired, right? Oh.
I mean, I just laid in the grass.
Oh,
looking
no.
up at this tree and was like, this is a real knife. I'd be bleeding out right now.
Unfortunately, Sensei Seth was also
This
killed,
is a
and even though he was
scary,
so close to the
scary
tree,
scenario,
received
guys.
0 points.
I was so mad because I was so close and he was in
Yeah,
the
you were
worst
so
spot
close,
I could
man.
possibly have had him in.
Now, before we jump back to Icy Mike in the
This
amphitheater,
is a scary
some of you may be
scenario, guys.
wondering,
This is
why
really,
are we
really,
escaping a warehouse full of knife attackers? In self-defense, fighting is by far not everything, as beating multiple attackers or weaponed opponents, as you may already know from episode 2, may be extremely difficult. So often, escaping or hiding, if that's an option, may be a much better choice. But
You see how Sensei Seth was ducking down and he grabbed the hand like this? And I think Jiu-Jitsu would have been a good option for that. Or since one of the students a few years back asked me the same, just by looking at this thing. This is my instinct from my experience, okay? Obviously, they were both tired. But my experience tells me, because I'm not a wrestler, guys. Or I'm not a Jiu-Jitsu guy. One of the students asked me, he said, what if, because I was playing around with a knife or something, right? I went like this. And then he grabs my hand like this. He grabs my hand like that. And he goes, Coach, so what would you do if I grabbed your hand? And you thought I was going to give him something like a like a John Wick move or something that like something they would in Hollywood. And I said, oh, I just punched you straight in the face. And the look on his face was, because he was brand new and he didn't know how to react to that. And I said, yeah, my hand is free. I could just punch you right in the face and knee you in the groin, right? And it was so realistic, and I don't think I should have, said it a little nicer too because of the way I said it. But yeah, that's what I would have done. Like that's just my experience. As soon as I see that I have already taken care of the threat, I should have. I would put my head up and then throw a hook. Of course, obviously, I'm still aware of the knife and stuff, but in order for you to win the situation is either run away, try to tag the tree. This is not a real scenario at that point because the tree is not like a safe haven or anything, but disarm the opponent or knock them out so that they have no control of their body anymore. So that's what I would have done. I'm just saying, but it is hard to it is harder to say. It is harder to do than it is to say, but that's what I would have done. It is easier said than done. That's what I was trying to get at, and then go for the tree. But anyway, let's continue really quick because that's what I would have done if that was me.
that is a skill on its own, and maybe more difficult to do than some think. That's why we are giving the contestants
I mean, isn't that why they have elbow pads? So in case they boom, elbow, right? I would have done that.
Chance to test their hiding, evading, and running away.
Look, they have elbow pads.
Now back to Icy Mike, who was left in a tough spot.
Oh, this
plan
dude
was for when they came in, I would make noise, they would come around to my side, and Seth would make noise leaving, they would go after him. All of that worked.
What are you running for? Not me.
except they didn't go after Seth.
There's two of you in there.
Yet, despite the attacker staying with Icy Mike, he had the upper hand due to his previous experience as a police officer.
I've spent time on a bloodhound team, SWAT team, warrant service team. I've chased lots of dudes. I know what works and what doesn't. And it became a waiting game.
Time's ticking, mate.
And it's a weird tension. He knows I'm in there, but it's tough to be in my shoes there.
I'll see you.
Well, he knows I'm in here. I know he's in there. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. So I popped down and I played a shell game with the doors. I popped the least desirable set of doors open. Went back into my hiding spot. They took the bait. They run out. I went out the more desirable set of doors, and I'm out the door. I'm home free. I'm looking. The field is wide open.
Mike!
These guys don't know who they're dealing with. And I start running. And then I see Adrian.
Oh, that's the
Go
dude
home,
that fought
lift my
Seth.
shield, put on it.
Oh, wait,
What
no,
else
is
but a
that?
flying sidekick? Boom. Music changed
telling you,
directions, and I'm
Seth
off.
is
Turn another
dope.
corner. This might be a dead end. I don't even know the layout. I cut around this concrete thing. I can see the tree
Dude,
that I'm
Seth
supposed to
is,
touch.
I mean,
a couple yards
Seth,
away. Boom, he hits me
Icy
from
Mike
behind
is just
and
too
rolls
cool,
me up.
man. He is a true survivor.
I hid for my life, sprinted for my life, and fought for my life. Gave
Yes,
everything
that's
I had,
exactly
still
what you're
came up
supposed
a
to do.
meter short.
Unfortunately, Icy Mike died.
A
and
meter
received 0
short?
points.
Not doing
Oh,
too well so
no.
far. I said in the beginning, I don't need that belt. I have my own belt. Then I saw the belt, and then I really kind of wanted that belt. I want to win, and it's frustrating.
Luckily for Mike, though, there are still 4 more challenges left, and you're about to see one more of them. Before we continue with the second team escaping the warehouse, there's one challenge you did not see yet that happened on day 1 at the beach in Wollongong, Australia. Here, the contestants not only had a great time at the beach, but they were also going to do a grappling ring fight, where the goal was to
this
stay
is
in the
interesting.
circle and remain standing, since in self-defense, keeping your ground and staying your feet is very important, as you are much more vulnerable to
Oh, you guys
attacks
have
when
no
on
idea
the
how many
ground.
times
As
I've
soon
seen
as
that
one of the
video.
competitors will touch the ground, it's very important,
This
as
one
you are
over
much
here.
remain standing, since in self-defense, keeping your ground and staying your feet
This
is
was like
very
the early
important,
days
as
of
you are much
YouTube.
more vulnerable to attacks when on the ground. As soon as one of the competitors
That one
will
was
touch the
from
ground with
Old
both
Boy, the
knees,
movie.
hands, or one of each, they will be eliminated. The same applies to falling on your back or being pushed out of the circle. The last man standing will receive 6 points, the second last 5 points, and so on. And they will begin as soon as they are warmed up.
Seth, he was doing these sumo stretches the whole time. I'm like, dude, can you not do sumo stretches? That's freaking me out.
When I heard that it was a beach one, essentially just pushing people around, it was the best thing it could have been for me. When I was 4, I started eating protein bars to play professional football one day. I was being bred for that. Now I push people around in the sand pits.
Hadn't slept for 2 days. Had a huge flight to get here. Jeff Chan, we arrived at the same time. He was also pretty sleep deprived. We just kept looking at each other like, there's a challenge today? Oh man, just want to take a nap, man.
Then when I heard it was gonna be everybody sumoing at once, I got nervous.
And then it was time for the challenge.
Ooh.
I know what I'll do. I'll run into the middle, spin a circle, run out, and then start to skirt around the outside.
I'm glad that Mike did his little thing where he ran into the circle so I could just grab onto him.
The smaller guys take one look at me and they're like, nope.
My game plan at the beginning was stay out of the way. Somebody will eventually still get someone out.
Yeah,
but
Dewey
see
was
this
huge. I didn't know. I
Mike
didn't think he
and
was
Matt
that big.
Angled together. This is my chance. Seth was in my way. I don't care about you. I just pushed him away. Bam.
And I
Nice,
thought it was
good
going.
one.
I could let Mike go and spare him, but then there was another part of me that was like, nah, f that. So I just stuck my underhook.
I'm gonna make sure Matt hits the ground first.
I did like a semi-sacrifice throw.
Fortunately for Mike, Matt hit the ground with his back first, giving Icy Mike 2 points and for the moment raising him up rank and
Oh, I
leaving
didn't know
Matt
that's
with
how the
1
rules
point.
work. Okay.
My goal was to get as many 2 people out, groups, as I could. And when other people engage, then I go for it again.
And he starts pushing me like that he's pushing me towards Jeff Chan. My plan is, okay, I'll just bump into Jeff Chan, and as Seth pushes me, I'm gonna push Jeff Chan out of the way. I almost had Jeff, and Jeff puts down a leg and frames and does some crazy Neo Matrix stuff. And then bam, I lose my support, I'm on the ground, I'm eliminated.
I get eliminated next,
Oh,
scoring
man.
3 points. But the 3 guys still had a battle to settle.
3 of us left, and I'm like, let's go for him. I go for Jeff, because I'm afraid of the doubling.
Sensei Seth eliminated Jeff Chan, leaving Jeff with 4 points and us with a final battle between Sensei Seth and Ramsey Dewey.
Ramsey was much stronger than I expected. He starts doing push hands on my stomach.
Tai Chi Chuan, the Tai Chi nerds, be like, yes, we're validated now because you used some push hands technique. Now that the pushing is over, now I'll showcase my grappling, I'll tie up with him. That was my mistake. I should have kept pushing.
Yeah, you should have just kept on pushing. That's the thing, guys. there's a saying, right? And everybody knows this saying. If it's not broken, don't fix it. If you're doing okay already on that move, just keep going. Obviously, if you want to fake them out, yeah. But if you're going to change the move and there's nothing wrong with it, I think that's a bad idea. But right now, he should have just kept on going with whatever that was working. And I forgot who this wrestler fighter was back in the King of the Cage days. Rico Rodriguez. He said it best. Go with what you know. Rico Rodriguez, I think that's him. Rico Rodriguez. Back in King of the Cage? 2000... Oh my gosh. 2008, I think? Yeah, well, anyway. Rico Rodriguez said, go with what you know, and don't pretend like you know something else. So, I'm not saying that Dewey was pretending like he didn't, like he was, doing what he knows what he's doing. I think he just made the mistake of changing his attack here, or his positioning here. Yeah, see, now he got pushed out. And he was the one doing the pushing earlier.
At the end, Ramsey
Good job,
scored
Sensei
5
Seth.
points, and Sensei Seth got 6 points, winning the challenge and making him the current leader. And now it's time for us to get back to Team 2 at the warehouse, which consisted of Jeff Chan, Matt, and Ramsey Dewey.
I was scared. I was so scared.
I thought I was going to have that in the bag because I've kind of transitioned a lot of my martial arts training to more like parkour-based training.
A lot of folks were probably thinking, how do I win this? What's the best hiding spot? And I'm just thinking, like, what happened? 6 dudes with knives intent on murdering you. I want to know, what did I do to these guys beforehand to make them want to murder me?
Going into the building, Team 2 decided to stick together and devised an elaborate plan.
Jeff was like, I feel like I got a really good rear naked choke. If we can just catch one by surprise, I'll sink that in. I was like, sick. Okay, I'll go for the knife arm. Ramsey, if there's another one, you just keep him at bay. We're all in agreement. So I turned around to look at the door. I turned back around. They had both disappeared.
So we came up with a plan, which we didn't follow at all. All right, 1, 2, 3, go. Let's execute the plan. Suddenly everybody went in a different direction, which was not the plan at all. Jeff was hid in the shadows somewhere.
That's
Matt
funny.
hid somewhere, I don't know. And I was like, well, I guess I should probably hide.
I was at a hiding spot behind the bleachers.
Then unfortunately for the competitors, the first whistle was blown, and the attackers began their hunt. And even more unfortunately for Jeff Chan, one of them made his way right to his hiding spot.
As soon as I heard like one of the guys walking by, my heart was like beating so hard and loud. Like I did not want to get.
Man. By the way, when your heart beats and then you're not even tired, when your chest is pounding so hard, do you know what that does to your respiratory system? It makes you breathe. It makes you louder than you really should have been. Like you breathe hard. It's a scary scenario.
It was like dunk 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 dunk, like the fastest I've ever. The guy walked past me, didn't see me. I'm like, yes. Then he walks by again, didn't see me again. And then he saw the GoPro light. He was trying to stab me. I actually caught his wrist and I was controlling for a while. And then I broke free and I booked it. I ran. So I'm the first person who got caught. So now everyone here is running.
Yet Jeff couldn't leave the building yet since there was no second whistle, so he had to run and fight his way through.
Everyone gathers together, and there's 4 or 5 guys now on me.
Freaking A, dude. That is scary, man.
There's only one path, and eventually I got through to one of the doors, and I knew I trapped myself. So I closed the door.
Nice. Good idea.
And then they eventually worked their way through the other doors.
Control that hand. Control that hand.
Despite putting up a good fight, Jeff Chan was fatally stabbed and gets 0 points. But there was still chance for Matt and Ramsey Dewey.
Matt's the other smaller guy. Him, yeah.
On a ladder, you can kind of see down.
I apologize to Matt from the last video because I wasn't really paying attention to the names down here at the bottom, or here, right? And it clearly said Matt, and I kept saying Coach Mike, or Icy Mike. So I apologize in the last video, okay? But yeah, the only reason why I kept making that mistake is because I obviously the masks and everything is hard to know who's who, and I've seen Matt's videos, but it's only through algorithms, but I didn't really pay attention too much because I was looking at other things, and but I don't know who Matt is really. But after this, I looked him up on after the last episode. I looked him up, and yeah, I've been paying attention to his to some of his videos. But anyway, I apologize to Coach Matt. Okay, sorry about that, and let's continue.
See people coming in and looking. Then I heard Jeff scuffle and he sprinted out. One out, I just heard him get stabbed to death. Started slowly making my way down, and then as I was climbing from the second level to the ground level, someone came in the room and I was like, oh, I didn't think there was any way for me to get down to the first level and then get out the door. So I ended up going back up the ladder because there's only one ladder up. So I was like, what are you gonna do? Chase me up and stab me while I'm kicking you in the face? I don't think so, buddy.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Stab my fuck you.
I did
Nice,
swear a lot,
good.
so I apologize for the language, but I had to get emotionally invested.
Yeah. You
Nuns,
have
I
to.
just
You
wanted
have to.
Like, you a little bit.
Get the down. I wouldn't actually kick you, but I just like to point out, I wouldn't be kicking you right in the face.
Good.
Intended to kick him in the face, but then I remembered probably can't actually kick him in the face.
I would be kicking you in the face, theoretically.
So then I ran away.
I like this. I like how they use safety for everybody. You know, like using proper what is it called? Call outs, I guess you can say, so that nobody gets hurt. I mean, obviously these things still sting, you know, because it's a martial arts versus martial arts thing. But in this scenario, if you're gonna have to call it out because you know they're not a real threat. They're all acting, but still, it's good to know that they're calling it out so that the other person understands. Oh, maybe I should do this. Blah blah blah. So it's pretty cool. I like the situational awareness thing here.
I went up the second flight of stairs. I went up another flight of stairs.
I'm not responsible for your falling dead.
And the gaps
reminds me
in
of
the
like a
railings
Jackie
are,
Chan scene.
More than enough for you to fall through. Someone opened another secret door and I got cornered. Okay, I want to go down swinging, but also I don't want anyone to actually die, and I know you got me here. I'm not going to fight you because I don't want to fall to my death.
I'm dead. I'm big time dead.
If I had to do it again, I had just gone for a safety in numbers approach, hide with everybody, and try to actually enact that plan we had in the first place.
Unfortunately, Matt was another person down, and Ramsey Diu was the last chance for someone to score any points.
Now, I'm a bit of an expert in hide and seek. If you have spent a meaningful amount of time with your own small children, you've probably played hide and go seek. And if you live in a fairly small apartment like I do, you only have so many places to hide, so you have to understand the nuances of light and shading and shadow and your eyes adjusting to the dark. So
good
I
one,
found
Dewey.
the best hiding place where people
Dude, this guy's a freaking like the biggest ninja I've ever seen.
Ramsey did find the perfect hiding spot under the bleachers, as no one could find him even though they were close.
Good point on the shadow effect thing there. Good job, dude.
Ramsey, it's not upstairs. It's small out there, but I hide this thing.
But while he was hiding, others were dying.
One by one, I heard everybody getting killed. First, I heard Jeff Chan, and I was thinking, I need to go help Jeff. Jeff's in trouble, but then by the time I had this thought, it was too late, and Jeff was gone. Matt made a valiant last stand. He was loud, he was bold, he was brave, but eventually they got him too.
Eventually, though, the attackers changed.
I like how the way he gives out like little narrations here and there. That's pretty cool.
Their strategy.
I'm gonna get Ramsey.
I had my ear to the floor because I could feel their footsteps. Eventually they stopped, and I could tell they stopped next to one of the exits.
Finally, Ramsey Diu was set to make a move.
Slowly, quietly, I crept out. I looked down the hallway, saw they were next to one of the exits. That moment, I made my fundamental mistake. I should have simply walked quietly and slowly, and I would have made it. But instead, I sprinted. And that motion caught their peripheral views.
Oh, you should have just walked. Like you said, yeah, that's true.
They outran me. I had the sweatshirt. I tried to tie up the first guy with the knife.
Nice. Oh,
Second guy came in. And then the rest lambasted me back.
What would you do?
If I knew about the bleachers beforehand, I would have got everybody together, Matt and Jeff, to hide in that exact same spot and then just do exactly what I did. But I felt bad. I felt bad leaving my team behind, man. That sucked.
Unfortunately, Ramsey, you also failed to get points in this challenge, but the contenders will have another chance at a team effort in a challenge that they would have never guessed.
Jesus. Watch his door. Watch your back.
Show me your neck. Go to that couch.
Now listen, we can't fight each other.
Okay, I see that there are girls. Oh, wow. Let me guess. Since there are girls in there, okay, let me just point this out just before. I just want to see. I like guessing before. Not that I'm assuming. I want to guess what the next episode is about. I think the next episode is about, since there are girls there, because remember I mentioned earlier there are no women, right? If there are women in here, that means I think they're trying to add some. They don't know who to trust, because I think I just heard a gunshot there, didn't I? Did you guys hear that little gunshot before when somebody was screaming? But it showed who the victims are, and then now they're mixed in with emotions of, dude, who are you? Like, what are you doing here? I didn't see a woman earlier, right? So yeah, I think that's what they're going for in the next episode. Anyway, so let's see how that goes. I want to see how this next episode is. This is a really interesting episode too, guys. That was really cool. Hide and go stab. That was a really cool episode about kind of like playing hide and go seek, but then with markers. And we might apply that in class. So let's see if we know how to defend ourselves against knife attackers and stuff. Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good one. Take care.